tough one for the Sharks. They were down 3-0. Then they made a comeback, but then it falls apart. A great game between these two rivals. Let's talk about it right now on Teal Town After Dark. Good evening, everyone. It is March 5th, 2021. Another chapter in the Sharks-Vegas rivalry, and this one is a tough one to take, even despite the comeback. But we'll get into all that in just a second. We want to welcome all of you to Teal Town After Dark. This is your live interactive Sharks postgame. We do this after each and every single game. So if you want to be part of the show, Teal together and chat with us on the page or the app. And of course, follow us on the social, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, SoundCloud, Reddit. Of course, our Discord. There you go, jerk. I said Discord. And you can find everything at tealtownusa.com. We are going reverse retro heritage night here tonight. So, rocking the fancy 90s graphics. And let's say hello to my partner in crime on this evening, Al Martinet.
Heyo, good morning, everyone. But no, good night, everyone.
Morning for you.
Yes. But yeah, hope everyone's doing well. Tough game tonight. But of course, I was on the last Teal Town After Dark. Kind of just said that this was going to be a potential blowout just because I just figured Vegas was going to come in red hot. And it kind of looked like that going in.
And early on, it didn't look great at first. I mean, you have Leonard taking a holding call like 2 minutes in, not even a minute in. There was a questionable high stick that Meyer receives that goes away, and you kind of knew that there was going to be something going on this night. But then, Vegas gets 2 quick goals in like a minute 15. From Riley Smith, who's always been a great Vegas killer, and then Chandler Stevenson getting a quick goal after that to make it 2-0, which is kind of where everything would stand
for a while. Vegas has it. They're bigger. Of course, they have the talent, but they're stronger than the Sharks, and their cycle game is among the best in the NHL. And the Riley Smith goal was just a simple dump it in, cycle around the net, and look for an opportunity. That's something the Sharks used to do a lot with, Thornton and Marlowe and everyone else. But kind of funny you see that with Pierre DeBoer as the coach, bring that kind of that play style over to Vegas. But yeah, just the cycle game for Vegas that's proven time and time again. That's one of the best.
Yeah, and starting 2-0, and of course their first goal is at 5:48, which is an improvement over what they usually do is allow a goal within the first 5 minutes. So I'm trying to up everything here, folks. Hopefully that gets the job done on here. Scarlett's already going and everything, so maybe it is time for a new mic. Thank you everyone for helping me out here. So 2-0 seems like everything is going Vegas's way, and then controversy starts. Around the 13-minute mark, Pacioretty appears to interfere or trip up Logan Couture. Logan's hurting a little bit. Pacioretty skates nearby. Couture goes after him.
Yep.
First off, what did you think of that? What did you think of Couture's response? And thirdly, what did you think of the call that went that way? Because Couture gets the only minor for roughing.
So normally what you see is, both players get teed up 2 minutes. That way it's still 5 versus 5, and play resumes, and there at least is some discipline on the ice. It's kind of odd just to see Logan go after someone, and that's probably why you saw a power play for Vegas.
Yeah.
But it was just a little bit questionable. Like, it did seem a little bit dirty, and so forth. Like, I could see why the refs called it the way they did, but most of the time, 90% of the time, they're going to call it equal penalties and just simply move the game along.
But unfortunately for the San Jose Sharks, didn't, nothing gets called. The back referee doesn't see it. The front referee doesn't see it. Pacioretty even gestures to Couture in the box that he dove. A lot of that would be on, but Pacioretty would play a big role in tonight's game. Nothing would really go on after that in the first period. You move on to the second. Pacioretty gets one within the first 3 minutes. There you go. There's your under 5 goal. Pacioretty, his 11th from Martinez and Reeves. Yes, that's right. Ryan Reeves had a point in this game, folks. And at 2:57 of the second period, Bob Bugner pulls Martin Jones, 3 goals, 8 shots.
Yep.
I saw on a Vegas Twitter a poll. What would happen first? A dumb Kane penalty, a dumb Marchessault penalty, or Martin Jones getting pulled? Martin Jones, 3 goals on 8 shots. I mean, my goodness, you can't have that.
The first 2 goals, I didn't feel like they were too bad. Once again, it was the cycle game for Vegas, but
right.
The third goal, of course, is just 3 Sharks players screening Jones, and it goes 5-hole through Jones. Maybe there should have been more awareness from the other defensemen, and I'm not too sure who the other guys were on the ice, but when 3 of your Sharks defensemen or players are screening you, it kind of does hurt the goaltender in a lot of ways. And this was just not Vegas screening the goalie. This was just a shot that made its way through Jones's 5-hole, and he had no way of seeing it.
Yeah, and it just wasn't his night, which seems to be the case for him this season. He gets pulled for the 5th time this season. I mean, it's just stunning and frustrating to see. And at that point, it was 3-0. And like all other Vegas games, when you're going up 3-0, hey,
yep,
it's over. I mean, what are they going to have, a 5-minute power play that's going to come out? No. Come on. Devin Dubnyk comes in. He makes a big save right off the get-go with a flash in the glove there. And that kind of got things going. Marchessault takes a tripping call. There's the other ding, he gets a tripping call, and then the Sharks get on the board. Brent Burns with his shot that at first I really didn't see it go off, and then out of nowhere they literally hit the end of period horn saying, hey, we're stopping this, you need to come and review this. Toronto already had reviewed it and saw that it hit the post and then hit the camera in the back of the net. That gets it through. Burnsy from Donato to get things going for the Sharks, and they're down 3-1.
Even in the replays, like the slow motion replays, it didn't look like it crossed the line.
Right.
So, like, I'm glad it counted, but like, I'm looking at it and like, you're counting the frames of where that puck is crossing.
Right. Yeah. And, 3-1, you're starting to get some hope here. And then later in the period, Matt Nieto comes down on a 2-on-1, takes a nice wrister to get it. He gets an assist from EK65. I mean, and all of a sudden you have a 3-2 game. Then some sloppiness at the end of the period, but a second period where it's doomsday. And you look at it at Matt Nieto, Yoel Shellman, and then Gabriel, who's in there for one reason and one reason only, of course, and getting comments now from the locker room. Shellman played well. Gabriel's great. Nieto scored. Good fourth line tonight. What did you take from the fourth line? I mean, they all had a fairly decent role this evening.
Yeah. I thought there was a smart coaching adjustment. I know coach for the San Jose Sharks has not really been we've given a lot of crap this season, but I thought the way they've kind of countered against Vegas aggressiveness, sending four people in the offensive zone, essentially copying a lot of what Pierre DeBoer did for the Sharks. Essentially just throwing the puck in the neutral zone and creating a 2v1 opportunity for Nieto. Nieto has been a surprise. I didn't really expect this much, offensive production, but I didn't expect him to be one of our best forwards this year. Just the way the season has kind of gone, but good on him, and I'm sure he's probably going to cash in the offseason.
Yeah, and his fourth of the year to make it in there. Speaking of the fourth line, we talked about Gabriel, being out there to kind of rile things up, to counterpunch, Ryan Reeves. And we saw during pregame a lengthy conversation between the two. And then, they would get it on 2 seconds in, prompting Gabriel to give this answer in the locker room. I had to earn his attention enough to get a fight tonight. I mean, we played the right way, and it didn't matter what the score was. If we play like that more often than not, we'll come out on the winning side. What did you think of the bout?
I thought it was a return of like old late 90s, 2000 hockey. Just the refs wouldn't jump in when clearly Reeves was winning the fight, and it went on longer than just 5 seconds. Some of it, I'm glad that that fighting has kind of made its way out. It's good to see it once in a while, but I thought this was a smart play early, very, very early on in the third period.
Yep.
Set the play.
I think we're having mic issues again with you, bud. But I agree with you on it being the early third period. If they're going to get it out of the way, they need to get out of the way right then and there. And I liked how they did it. Didn't like how Gabriel's helmet was still in the freaking way in there. But Reeves got that one glancing blow right on the cheek, and that cut him up, and that really got things going for Vegas. Because sure enough, 24 seconds after the fight ended, Alex Tuch would get his 10th. That was a huge momentum killer for the Sharks. If Gabriel, makes it even, the team is on it. They are still fighting for getting that tying goal, but instead, Reeves kind of gets a little bit of the TKO. Then Tuch comes back to make it 4-2, and that's a tough one to take.
Yeah, especially right after. I see you, Chad. For the most part, you have to get the first goal in the third period tied up right there. But being down 4-2, really hard place for the Sharks to come back from. Give them a lot of credit, they actually did, but this was a long way to go.
Yeah. And so then you're looking at 4-2 backbreaker. Vegas started Oscar Dansk as they put Robin Lehner on long-term injury reserve. And honestly, Fleury played 10 in a row, so it was due. And I thought the Sharks should have looked at that as a slap in the face that they're starting their backup goaltender, a goaltender who, while he's played for Henderson in the AHL, hadn't played an NHL game since October 21st, 2019, where he gave up 6 goals in a 6-2 loss in Philly. And I'm thinking, oh, goodness gracious, this is not looking good.
I mean, Leonard is out with a shoulder injury, and he is their clear number one. Um,
That being said, Fleury's done a heck of a
Vegas
job.
Fleury. Um, so
Uh, so
yeah,
you have.
I,
Go ahead. Sorry.
yeah, just Fleury. I didn't think Vegas really thought they were going to use Vegas or Fleury as much this season. So Leonard, when he comes back, is definitely going to be the clear number one. But this is, I take no disrespect to it. That's just how the season has gone, especially during a COVID season.
And honestly, you do need to get Fleury some rest to really get him prepped for the playoffs, which I think Vegas should be starting to get close to clinching a playoff spot, I think, fairly soon. At the rate they're going, they move on to 15-4-1 on the campaign here. Um, you know, but then the Sharks would have some resiliency. There would have some fight in them. Kuhre, seeing that Pacioretty had a goal and assist on the night so far, he gets in on the scoring with a nice goal, his 12th of the season from EK65 in LeBanc. EK65 with 2 points on the night. LeBanc would be the first of his 2-point night. You kind of saw them fighting for it, but Vegas was still trying to stymie the team down a little bit.
Yeah. Clearly, um, I did kind of feel like they eased off the pedal in the third period. And I probably did cost them a little bit, and obviously that did cost them the third period, but the Sharks tying it. But like yeah.
John with the super chat donation as always. Thank you very much. Of course, any donations to the show is a welcome sight, and we appreciate it. Always goes back to support the show. John saying tomorrow is going to get nasty.
Well,
I'm not sure. I'm sure Gabriel is going to want a round two. Will the question now being though, because
will there be a long?
Ryan Reeves got injured later in the game. I hope he's okay. I'm not sure what it was that got him injured there. But we hope he's okay, because I'm sure that Gabriel's going to want to have a round two. And the question is, if Reeves can't go, does Gabriel go? I don't know.
No.
So so later on, the Sharks get a chance with Reeves taking not Reeves, Carrier taking a hooking call. And it just looks like, you kind of like thinking, okay, this is your chance, and then nothing happens, and then you're like, oh no, well, that was their chance. And then out of nowhere, Burnsy gets the puck in his own zone. He flips it up over the ice. LeBanc is skating with him, and then all of a sudden, just a slight little tip by Kevin LeBanc, he collides with Pietrangelo and Dansk, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Patrick Marleau tied this game at 4-4. No, at least Ian. Hi, Ian. By the way, hi, Trick. And that's what Randy Hahn thought. What was going on there, but it was LeBanc in to tie this game up at 4-4. Just kind of those weird flip up plays, and he just tips it home.
Yeah. Yeah, for the most part, this was what? Which score were we at?
We just tied it at 4.
4. Simple dump and play. I kind of laughed when Randy called LeBanc Marleau.
Yeah.
So just an accidental play. I really didn't think much was going to come off of it, but yeah.
And this one gets tied up at 4-4, and Surprisingly, we're headed to overtime after a 3-0 Vegas lead. But then Max Pacioretty cements the night with a game-winning goal after Evander Kane goes for a hit on Mark Stone. And honestly, you know, Dubnyk, you have to have that back. You have to have that one. And Kane, you probably shouldn't go for the hit with a 3-on-3 because now you're just making it a nightmare. And Jordan, you're saying it as I'm just about to say it, defensive breakdown. That was a tough one to take, and it gives the Knights the victory on the night.
Yeah. I thought Devin Dubnyk should have had at least been in better position for that save. By the looks of it, it should have been an easy save, but you never know with just with Devin Dubnyk.
He came in relief. He had 17 saves on 19 shots. Tough one on the night. This one is a final 5-4. Vegas wins in overtime. The Sharks now go to 8-10-3 on the campaign as we inch closer and closer to the halfway point, and we get closer and closer to the end of this homestand, their longest one of the year. Goes without saying, though, that you hear about Marcus Sorensen just a few minutes before warm-ups. He's under COVID protocol. We don't know any update whatsoever, but it's a tough one. It's a tough one, but and I know AJ put it in here for the comment from Bugner here, but you played with one of the best teams in the West, and you pick up a point. I mean, you do get that. I mean, if Bugner, here we go. It's the best team in the West. We scored 4 goals on them, won the special teams, took them to overtime. I'll take the positives out of that. It was a good point for us. Do you take it, or it's like, well, maybe you shouldn't have been in that scenario first?
Yeah, like especially on a 3-versus-3 or 3-on-3 on overtime, you would have maybe. I thought the Sharks were being a little bit too aggressive. Kuhre, I saw him being, playing the only defenseman, and Vegas had a 2-on-1 in that overtime. Mm-hmm. So maybe you could have just played it a little bit more safe instead of leaving your goaltender high and dry. 3-versus-3 has been something the Sharks have just not been that great at this season, though.
And you would think with the speed that they brought in with Nieto and with Donato, the speed that they have already, you would think that they would find a better way, or have a little more luck with it. But it is Vegas, tough one to take. But yeah. I mean, and I see a lot of comments about, Landy, hey, good evening, bud. Not sold on Doobie. Doobie is a nickname for him. I mean, he's had some nice moments. He had some key saves in this one, and just couldn't live up to the hype, per se. And so,
Yeah, this was the big move for Doug Wilson this season, getting a backup goaltender that could pressure Jones.
Right.
And it hasn't really worked out.
Yeah. So that would do it. Hey, guess what? These guys get to play again tomorrow. Oh, that should be interesting. Again, with Reeves out, you wonder if Gabriel comes out himself. That'll remain to be seen. What adjustments do they make on a back-to-back? I believe this will be the 3rd back-to-back for the Sharks this season, and they have 9 more to go, folks. So be prepared for that one. As for your favorite segment, we're at 58 people right now. If you haven't already, smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell. That'll let you know that when we go on with anything, especially breaking news, we'll be more than happy to have you join us and get that alert right off the get-go. For your favorite topic, we will ask for, let's see, how many should we ask? We have 55 in here, Al. Let's go, 27?
We're at 24 likes.
Yep.
I think 27 is doable.
27 is doable. All right. 3 more likes, and of course, a donation to our Venmo at Teal Town USA. Again, all the donations go to help support the show, get us better lighting, get us fancier stuff. Jerry, you mentioned about the banner behind me. Yes, that is a reverse retro banner back there. Got that just the other day. It's one of my favorite, one of my nice ones there. And of course, rocking the reverse retros tonight. Al, what did you think of the jerseys now that they were on the ice and not being, modeled with a person wearing a hoodie underneath?
I kind of liked it more with a hoodie.
Really?
Wow, maybe I just cracked out the wrong time.
Yeah, it's just like silence.
But let's just say that, like, I think this is more of a streetwear jersey than anything else. I don't think it looks that great for what you see on TV.
The jersey itself, I think, was fine. I think the lettering is a bit sus. With the teal, how it pops with the light, kind of just goes to hurting in the hands. Now, when they zoomed in on it, when they have a closer angle, it looks great. But the main camera angle wasn't exactly the best in the world for it. So we'll see. Is this a 1-year thing? We'll see. Maybe there's another one coming soon. Who knows? It'll be interesting to see how this looks. But I kind of liked it. I've always loved the second generation look, that Nike look. So definitely enjoyed that. We see that Jerry F has sponsored tonight's reach around. So we will get right into it. Did you happen to see the Bruins and Capitals earlier today?
No, I didn't.
Oh, gosh. Tom Wilson did Tom Wilson things. Looked like a high hit on Carlo of Boston. He apparently went to the hospital, and it'll be curious, we'll say. Curious if he gets any supplemental discipline on this as a repeat offender. Nonetheless, it ignited the Boston Bruins, including Brad Marchand getting 2 goals to give the Bruins a 5-1 victory over Washington. I'll keep going. Oh,
we
Al,
got suspension for 2 games.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep going.
Like
You kind of lost it there, bud. We kind of lost that connection there.
My internet is ruining me right now. Why did you give me the AOL internet?
I didn't do it. I gave you all my extra hour CDs. I'm sorry.
So that's the reason why.
Yes, all my fault, of course. Yes, I can already hear people in Nashville saying it's my fault. Moving onward, Chicago over Tampa Bay 4-3 in a shootout. A crazy game indeed there. But, Kubalik, DeBrincat, the goal scorers for the Hawks. In that one, the Hawks trying to make a run. McElhaney started for Tampa Bay. That was a surprise. In overtime, Wuso, did I get that right, Jerk, has been on a run for the Blues as former Shark of 90 minutes, Mike Hoffman, gets the OT winner in 1:30 as the Kings go down to the Blues 3-2 in overtime. In that game, Colorado 3, Anaheim 2. That game also went into overtime. A lot of OT games tonight, except for that Boston one. Uh, Nikushkin with 2 goals, including the game winner in overtime, as the Avalanche win another one, rocking their reverse retros. Adam Henrique was on waivers, came back. He scored his 5th tonight. In the Desert Dogs go down to the Minnesota Wild 5-1. Kevin Fiala with an empty netter, along with Matt Zuccarello, among others. Kakinen with the victory there. Kaprizov, not on the scoring sheet, at least for goals, at least. So that'll get you up to date there. Kevin, I am paging Kevin. Kevin Lacy, are you there? Because somebody, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Somebody wanted to talk about the San Jose Barracuda tonight. So with that, we're going to bring in Kevin Lacy. See if we can add him on here. Kevin, maybe. Bueller, there he is. We bring in, and of course I get the names wrong on the figures. Here, we'll just do it.
That's okay. At least you got the recap right, unlike Sportsnet. So there you go.
And it was their game of the night. So, shall we? Let's get to it. It is time for a quick recap of tonight's Barracuda game.
Ooh, Barracuda!
Kevin, the floor is yours. Let's hear about the Barracuda action tonight against
the San Diego Gulls. Sorry, I'm a little off center here, guys, but just bear with that. But hey, yeah, the Barracuda played an awesome game, unlike the Sharks' first half of their game tonight. The Barracuda came out after losing 6-0 on Wednesday to Bakersfield and put up a 5 spot against San Diego, winning 5-1. This despite Joachim Blichfeld, Joel Chelman, Alex True, Nick DeSimone, Stefan Nason, and I think 2 other players who all got called up. And yet, nevertheless, the Barracuda were flying high. Evan Weinger put up his first goal of the season on kind of just an awkward goal. And then the lone blemish, an absolute atrocity of a goal for San Diego to tie this game, where it almost looked like the Barracuda just assumed play was dead or something, because that's how terrible they were defensively on San Diego's goal, letting them pass through everyone with no sticks down on the ice or anything. It was horrible. But after that, everything was peachy. The Barracuda scored 4 more times. Jaden Hobgowax, a.k.a. Scrabble, put up 2 goals. Carlos Chuksta, who was playing forward, I should mention, the Barracuda played only 10 forwards tonight because they were so depleted up front. They dressed 8 defensemen and had 2 of their defensemen play forward. Carlos Chuksta was one of those so-called defensemen. He puts up his first professional goal in his first pro game. And Sasha Chmielewski also got on the board. That was a nice play by Robbie Russo, another defenseman playing forward tonight. Russo absolutely hung Lucas Dostal out to dry, made a fake shot, passed to Chmielewski wide open for a goal. Everything looked great from the minor league perspective in this organization tonight. Even Alexei Melnichuk, who has not looked good at all in his first 3 starts professionally, he was rock solid for what it was worth. He only had to make 17 saves. He made 16 of them. And like I mentioned, Barracuda 5, San Diego 1.
And that game was played in Irvine, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a reason why they're in Irvine instead of San Diego, just because of the county restrictions?
You know what? I honestly I know with Ontario playing in El Segundo,
Right.
That is absolutely why. I actually have not paid any attention to the goals this whole season. So I will just say, sure.
Yeah.
But,
Sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot there, but Appreciate the Barracuda recap. Their next game is
tomorrow in Irvine against San Diego. Will we see a repeat? We'll see. It's 3 in a row against San Diego here. Tonight, tomorrow, and Tuesday back in San Jose at Solar for America Ice.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm wearing the only jersey worth wearing of this style. I don't know if you can see that, but I just want to point that out.
Yes. No, I get you. You actually kind of have the prototype per se with the white piping around the arms and shoulders.
Yeah.
So that's
this was the Shark Store first release,
yep.
And to me, the best version of this style. So,
gotcha. So the Barracuda win, yay. Sharks lose, nah. No, not gonna like it. Not gonna like it at all. So, well, with that, no rougher way around it. So we're kind of gonna be going on a sad note tonight. Unfortunately, the passing of one of the first assistmen in Sharks history, Mark Pacioretty, passed away earlier today at age 63. He was a member of the original San Jose Sharks. And like I said, he assisted on the first Sharks goal in franchise history from Craig Cox, along with Mark Pacioretty and Neil Wilkinson. Tough one to go. Of course, more notably, a member of the 1980 USA Olympic Miracle on Ice squad. But we want to send our thoughts to his family, his teammates as well. Definitely dealt with a lot of tough mental health issues in the last few years. But Mark Pacioretty has passed away at the age of 63. With that, we'll bring this to a close. In case you missed anything, when you want to watch this again, check us out on tealtownusa.com. That's better. That's more reverse retro. Check us out on their Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, TuneIn, and of course iHeartRadio, and of course always available at tealtownusa.com. With that, we'll bring a close. Hey, get this darn thing out of here. There we go. That's more like it. All right, Al. I know it's been a rough one.
Yeah.
But you know, we've persevered, just like the Sharks did, coming back from a 3-0 deficit to pick up a point in a loss. But your final thoughts on where the people can find you?
Rough show tonight. I'll keep this fast because I don't want to deal with my internet issues again. You know, tough show. Move on to the next one. But the Sharks are being more consistent, and the offense in EK65 has been playing a lot better.
Picked a couple assists there, for sure. Go ahead. Go ahead. Oh. He's at Al Martinet. Yes. Josh Dees, yes, posted a great picture of Ryan Reeves on Reddit to enjoy, of course. Damn, no super chat mentioned. Shame. No, we're getting to it. It's all right. Kevin, thank you for your recap. Your final thoughts and where everybody can find you.
I'll give you my final thoughts here. As I mentioned, the Barracuda played great. I was on the Calder Farmstead podcast, the latest episode came out earlier today, so go check that out on Full Press AHL. You can just search Calder Farmstead on Twitter and YouTube, and you will find it. Had about a half-hour discussion about the upcoming, or now current, series with the Gulls and the Barracuda, so please check that out. I'm at Kevin Lacy 22, and I don't know if it was mentioned earlier, but Marcus Sorensen was put on the COVID-19 list, so hopefully no other players, especially from a Barracuda's perspective, because somehow we went from 19 forwards to 11. So stop taking our players. You have a taxi squad, Sharks.
No. At this point, they're going to call you to try out. For a professional tryout, but
I haven't played in almost a full calendar year, and I'm ready to go. I've been skating, so give me a call.
I can't wait to get back out on the ice for sure. I'm at PuckGuy14 on the Twitter and the Instagram. We'll be back with you tomorrow night following Sharks and Golden Knights round 2. Should be interesting, folks. Definitely be on the lookout for that. We'll be after that to recap everything on there. But until tomorrow, keep it real. Keep it teal. Keep it real, teal. Have a great night, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow night.